How did it feel to get back out there after about a month?
Like it always feels when I get back from rehab, unfortunately. But pretty good, actually. Get out there, get to hit some people, foul some people. Feel good.
You had there was one sort of sequence where I think you blocked Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Was that, I guess, obvious question? How did that feel? Or is that sort of just back in the swing?
Yeah, just doing my job. That's it. Get out, try to get layups, get stops, repeat.
Gary, how are you feeling about the team right now? I mean, you guys are in a little bit of a losing streak. I mean, how important is tomorrow's game coming up and the rest of the homestand?
I think every game from here on is probably important. We got to get back to, doing winning ways, doing things the right way, doing simple things before it's too late. So we got to pick and choose, when we want to come back with the connectivity and get back to, doing things for each other.
Gary, everybody, media, fans, everybody has their own opinion on the quick fix, what you guys could do. Mm-hmm. Do you really think you guys are that far off, or do you think things are a lot closer to turning around than maybe most people's perception?
It's really not about anybody outside this locker room. We know what we got to do. We know what it takes within the locker room to do what we got to do to, win games and make it easier for ourselves to put ourselves in positions to win games. And we just got to get back to that. Like I said, get back to playing for one another, and get back to, having our trust, on both sides of the ball.
You mentioned get back to playing for each other. Do you feel like, maybe it's an obvious question or not, but do you feel like you guys were getting away from that? Did you sense that even when you weren't playing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can see it on the court. It's just a disconnect that we have, especially on defensive end. And I think a little bit of our offense is predicated on our defense, which it should be the opposite way around. So, if we just get back to, keep it simple on offense and defense, just coming out with first, second, and third efforts, and just using our brains while we play, I think, we'll turn things around sooner than, we expected.
In your absence, and you've seen other guys step up and get some playing time, are you seeing development that you like to see, like Brandon and Trace, guys getting more playing time and being able to contribute?
Oh, absolutely. We've been talking about this from the beginning of the season, just from the summer. We've seen that, we got young guys that are learning quickly and producing fast. So we're pretty deep on our bench. So, like you said, if next man's up, we had a couple guys go down, including myself, and we had the young guys come in and step in. And, they've always been ready to go when the number's called. Moses has been playing phenomenal. When he gets his number called, Brandon, Trace, they're just coming in and being ready, when called upon, and, that's huge for us. And, the rest of our guys, our group, we got to come out and do the same and be ready, regardless of when Steve throws us in or takes us out.
Andrew Wiggins, his 3-point attempts are in half compared to last year. Is that something that is of concern to you guys, or something that you hope that can go up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not a number I'm concerned about. He's also playing less, than he did a year ago. And remember, he missed 50 games or whatever it was. So those numbers are mainly based on the first 30 games of the season, and that group that he played with was really in sync at that time. So this is a different team. My main thing watching Wiggs is that he's really coming around. He's coming into his own. You can see it on the floor. You can see it on the practice floor. His energy, his focus. He looks great, and I'm really excited that he's rounding into form, and he looks like his old self to me out there.
I guess not to go too deep into this, but is the hope you guys don't really care that if he takes more threes, or is that something that you think would open up the offense a little more?
I haven't talked to him about it, and I don't plan to. I think if we can find our team, if we can find a rotation that clicks, if we can find a two-way group or two-way combinations and really make some strides, I think the numbers just kind of take care of themselves.
Steve, kind of following up on your comments from the other night postgame when you said the team was missing that grit and everything. Have you had that conversation with the players, and what was, if you did, what was their kind of response when you did talk?
That's none of your business. I mean, yeah, of course. You know, we have those conversations, and not anything I want to share publicly, but we address everything that happens within this team. So, you know, it's I have to pick my times to say certain things, to not say certain things. I felt like it was a good time to say that publicly, and because we have to turn the corner in that regard. You know, 32 games in, and then that's the focus.
Steve, Steph has said a couple times that he views New Year's Day as a really important kind of marker in the season. Do you agree with that? Why do you think it's an important day in terms of evaluating the team? And that being said, how do you feel about where you guys are right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good marker. 32 games in, or you're not quite at the halfway point, but you have a pretty good sense of where you stand amongst the league, and so we are not where we want to be, but I also don't think we're that far from being so. So I know the areas we have to improve in, both on the floor and intangibly. And I have a lot of confidence that we can figure it out together and become the team that we expected coming into the year.
Steve, Moses has always been like a really good player for you when he's been given minutes. But given this point of his career, how do you try to utilize him best for you when he's playing?
Well, Moses right now is the victim of our depth as a team, as a roster. I've said it many times publicly. I think we have 13 guys who could all be in the rotation. Corey Joseph, every time I put him out there, has played really well. Obviously, he's got 2 Hall of Fame point guards ahead of him, so it's tough to play 3 guards. But when Corey's in the rotation, I feel great. When Moses is in the rotation, I feel great. When you go down the list, I feel confident that 13 guys could be in the rotation. You can only play 9 or 10, and that's the reality. So we are trying to find different combinations. One player like Gary coming in has an effect, a domino effect on the entire rotation. So now you're mixing and matching. So at different times this year, Moses has been out of the rotation, JK's been out of the rotation, Gary's been out. And because we haven't found consistency, we're going to continue to experiment. Right now, Moses is out, but I know the way he carries himself, and he's going to find his way back in.
Do you find that kind of puzzling in a way that it's taken this long? You're into a new year and you're still trying to figure out your team's identity and whose roles are what?
Yeah, I expected for this to be a really good team, and I still think we can be a good team. I think there have been a lot of circumstances that have led us to this point, and they are what they are. And what I've learned as a coach is every year is different. Every year you get hit with surprises, and whether it's an injury, a suspension, whatever it is, absences like Wiggs last year, stuff just happens. And the whole point of coaching is to help guide the group through that, and that's what my staff and I are trying to do now.
I don't know how generous you're feeling about this, but the starting lineup that you had last game with Chris and Trace in there, is that something that you see rolling with for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just throwing darts, so every night it's not like, hey, what do you think we should do tonight? So we're going to give this a look for sure.
I was just going to ask you the same thing. Orlando's been playing such good defense, and they're so big in the middle. I was going to ask you if you're going to maybe start Loon, but will Loon see more time this game?
Maybe, yeah. Again, with 13 very capable players, we have to push the right buttons and keep the guys who aren't in that rotation engaged and reminding them that their time's coming, and it's their job to stay ready and stay committed. But it's not easy. It's not an easy proposition as a player to be out of the loop and then be expected to play well when you get your chance. It's not easy as a coach when you've got only nine slots for 13 worthy players.
How did you feel when you went back and looked at the tape, how Trace handled his first start?
Trace was great. He handled things really well, followed the game plan well. I think the issue for us in the Dallas game was more felt to me like we were pressing. We were playing decently throughout, at times well, but we had real issues transition defense-wise. So that was the number one basketball issue. But I felt like because Dallas was playing well, we started pressing, and we had key moments of the game where we either fouled or took a quick shot. And, you could see by the end of the game, we get it within 4 or 5, 2 minutes left. But it felt like we were chasing the game quite a bit and lost our discipline a little bit. But that's sometimes what happens when you're struggling a little bit.
And what was that feeling in
like
retrospect? What can you
It was
take away
great.
from your first
being
NBA?
out there starting the game, just playing with energy, having guys like Chris Paul, Steph, Clay, like legends, being on the same court, starting with them. It's a blessing, and something that when I was little I never thought of. So
When you look at how you guys have played so far in the last couple games, I know it was better against Dallas, but you see the game coming up tomorrow against the Magic. I don't want to say must win, but would you say it's a nice to win type of game that you guys are looking at scenario-wise?
Oh, absolutely. We need to get out of this funk that we're in. Orlando's got a great team. They're long and athletic, and we're going to have to be on point on defense, on the defensive end of the floor. And so we just got to keep listening to the coach and what he's saying, and keep grinding it out on the defensive end.
Brandon said after the game that you guys, after the game, you guys had a meeting of sorts, team meeting. What was, you don't have to say what was said, but what sort of the takeaways from that?
Just the biggest takeaways from that was just our energy, really. Just trying to stay positive, bringing great energy when we're on the floor, because guys feed off of that. And if you have negative energy, you can suck the energy out of a team. And so we can't have that, because we're trying to still win the margins is another thing that coach says. And that's a big part of it. When you play with great energy, it's contagious. So
Trace Paulo's obviously a big guy, and he's using his body to his advantage big time. How much are you looking forward to that matching up with him this week or tomorrow?
He's a great player. Quite frankly, I don't know if I'm going to be matched up with him. I might be, but we'll see when we get to that point. But great player. He's really worked on his game a lot. I remember watching him, not playing against him, but watching him in college. I knew he was going to be really, really good, and just seeing his game elevate to this level is it's really special.
How did you find out that you were going to start the last game, and what was sort of the difference in your process in getting ready?
Just I took it the same as a process. CP actually told me when we were walking out of practice the day before that I was going to start, me and him, and then coach texted me right before our shoot around, and so that was really cool that it was official. But I just had the same approach, did all the same things that I usually do, but instead just be mentally ready. And I knew when my name was going to get called, so just always being ready and staying ready.